Gundam.tk presents High Grade, Genoace Custom. Hey again everybody, Robert184, 2 R's 2 B's from YouTube and Gundam.tk, and as Gundam Age, the anime moves on, Flit is going to need some new allies, and you've already seen the unbox and all the parts, but it's time to make a better version of the High Grade Genoace and a better version of the Advanced Grade and turn this into the High Grade Wolf Custom Genoace. As it spins into view here, you can see Flit's nemesis for all of about 1 episode, yes, Wolf Annie Eccles, Genoace Custom. As it spins around to the back, you can see that there's a lot of gray exposed there, and I'm a big fan of that just because it breaks up the dullness of the white. When you see it from the front especially, you hardly see anything with the ankles, the legs are solid, and so are the elbows. So all the places that you typically see it on a Federation suit having the gray, you're just not going to see it here. That could be fixed if you wanted to add a bunch of lining, but you may note that because I didn't line very much on the legs, there just seems to be a lot more detail on the upper body. And that is something that you can choose to do however you please. In terms of posability, remember how the Advanced Grade could do, yes, nothing? Well, this one is going to be able to bend the legs like this. Off to the side, if you pop the skirt up, you can have the leg go all the way out for full total splits. The ankles are going to move like this and forward and back, so there should be nothing you can't do with the lower body. Upper body, you can rotate it all the way around for those of you that care about stuff like that. The arms itself are going to rotate and pop out because they're on a shoulder joint, which is going to allow the arm to not quite reach across and touch its other shoulder. Remember, you're only going to get a little bit more than a 90 there with this, but it is going to rotate at the shoulder, and the wrist is going to have that little bit of double O-ish mobility. 2 points of articulation for the head, so overall, not too many things that this kit can't do. Arming this guy up couldn't be any simpler. And I think this comes across as looking a lot better, if only because it's more filled out with the shield, just adding a little bit of weight to its left side, and the huge beam spray gun, filling it out to the right with the extra addition of the 2 colors of gray. And I'm ignoring the gray that you're getting on the heat stick. So overall, I think it's looking pretty sharp. It's just unfortunate that that red seal is only seen if you were somebody attacking the V Gundam from behind. For height comparison, especially when you add in the commander's antenna, the Genoace is and should be higher than the HGFC Master Gundam, whose review you can check out on YouTube and Gundam.tk. Both in terms of looks and style, there should be a lot of similarities here, but I'm actually seeing more differences, it seems. The regular Genoace comes across as being a little bit shorter, and that's of course just thanks to the commander's antenna. But overall, you just see, because of the white, I don't know why, it just seems to look taller. The shield and everything just comes across as being more pronounced. The big weapons certainly help, and the fact that it's got a unique set of shoulders. These ones sort of look very flat and they just sort of blend in, whereas these ones stand out and look much more high mobility type. Next to the AG Genoace Custom, the big difference is you're not going to see too much in the lower body, but it's up here, the backpack. You can see this shield is looking ugly compared to this one filled in. Same thing with the backpack. The fact that you've got white under the green visor here as opposed to this one with the gray part certainly makes a big difference. The weapon is probably 25 times, just to throw a random number out there, better than this one. And you do get that little bit of gray to break up with the hands and the hips and the waist. So overall, of course, the HG is and should be looking better. Just before I sat down to shoot this, I was thinking back to Gundam Age and saying which mobile suit has really made an impact, and the Genoace comes across as pretty lame, so does the Gafran after that first episode. The Zeta still has some mystery in the back toe, but really, you are left with the Genoace Custom being probably the second best mobile suit in the whole series. So in terms of the models, it makes sense to have the quality high grade next to the quality high grade here, and they certainly do look good as a team. Again, the fact that there's not so much lining down below just makes it look a little bit strange there, the way I've done the upper body. But overall, they do look fitting, and once they get posed, especially aerial, I think they're going to look like a much better combo than they do right here. Standard down the barrel kind of stuff just shows off again. Unless you're looking at it from the back, you won't see the gray there. You can also get a trace of the personal mark there, and you do get to see a little bit more gray in the shoulders, so it's looking good, and I do like the looks of that weapon. Get rid of the spray gun though for the heat stick, and even the personal mark be on display can't quite save this from looking pretty dull. Looks like he's going to dinner. Not necessarily a good pose here, but I was just trying to muck around and see just how much those legs can move, and you can see that they are all over the place, which exposes some gray, and sort of makes it a little bit more interesting. He can hide behind the shield, and yes, the beam saber comes across as being a lot more effective than the previously seen butter knife. And you'll notice that this guy passes the flat foot test by a mile, and you don't even need an action base to get some of the cool poses just because of how many different things you can do with this. Would have been nice if they had thrown in an extra manipulator though, just to break up the whole just clasping hands. There's no other variety there. Near identical pose, but it's just up in the air thanks to the help of the HGFC Nobel Gundam Berserkers mode stand. And yes, the way you can move the feet, it's a little bit disappointing that you can't bend the feet forward more just to have more of a space type of feet dragging below you kind of pose, but overall still looks pretty impressive. The beam spray gun, whether it's 3B or 3D, can actually look pretty good, and this action base being in white seems to fit it pretty well. Even the shot marker doesn't come across as looking all that bad. In terms of some of the great Gundam partnerships that have been seen in the overall pantheon, how are these two going to stack up, especially compared to other Senpai Kohais? So far it seems pretty good, but especially with this whole 3 generations thing going on, I wonder what kind of effect we're going to be having, and will there always be somebody in a white custom suit helping out the leader of the Asano family? So that's going to wrap up my look at the high-grade Genoace Custom in its mobile suit form. Certainly an interesting variation, and it's cool to have it here with the regular HG Genoace. Big step up on the AG and a good compliment to Flit's HG Age 1. Anyway, everybody, stay tuned for the final verdict, where I'll have all the good and bad things summed up in one place so you can make a call as to which of these, if any, are actually something that you might want to pick up. Anyway, everybody, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think with a comment down below. Rate, comment, and subscribe, please. See you, everybody. Ever heard of the show Gurren Lagann? I really hope the same thing doesn't happen to you a third of the way through the series.